Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself. Oh, and if you don't mind, like, subscribe, comment. And I've got a link tree down below that's got my social media, and it has my Patreon if you want to help out. Thank y'all. So, I got invited by a friend of mine to go to a protest with him that was protesting the death of Rolin Hill. He is a man that was arrested for trespassing, taken to the Virginia Beach City Jail, and 5 officers beat him to the point that, well, he's no longer with us. One, I agree with the protest, but at the same time, I was a little worried. But I thought, I've talked on this. I want to see what the people are doing about it. I could report to y'all what's going on and have a better idea of what's the whole situation is. Well, one, it wasn't as big as originally planned because, well, two things. Well, three things, actually. And that's that it was early voting day, and every early voting site in Virginia Beach was slammed. I went to the library before I got picked up to go to the protest, and the Central Library here in Virginia Beach is a fairly large building. It was wrapped around there, and it was wrapped around there for hours. Also, there was another protest. The other one I wouldn't have gone to. It was over COVID, how they handled COVID at the jail. But see, there's another protest going on. And then there was this protest, which had, they were originally going to be combined with BLM. So it's Libertarian Party, BLM. Wasn't real thrilled at the idea of BLM, but they said, hey, they pulled out. So I'm like, okay, let's go to it. Wasn't big at all. But people still showed up and, you know, did what they wanted to do. Now, I have to give it to a protest that most of the people there are also connected with the Peacemaker Sheriff movement. It was a very peaceful protest. Like I said, it was small, but it was a very peaceful protest. It was right outside the jail. We started out with the prayer, and we actually ended it with the prayer. And there was a representative from the Libertarian presidential candidates campaign, and a woman showed up that had had some interaction with Rocky Holcomb, who is the current sheriff. He was appointed, not elected. So she didn't have good things to say about some promises that he made, and then she ended up getting arrested because he didn't keep his promise. This is what kind of people were showing up, and it was actually illuminating. I think more people should have been there, but unfortunately they weren't. I will also say that I'm a little shocked at this being a protest. It was peaceful, considering all the protests that you see nowadays. I guess it was peaceful because nobody was able to infiltrate it. Now, look, I'm not going to be going to a lot of protests. This one was a friend invited me. He was key member of the staff of Aldo D. Bellardino, who is running as the peacemaker sheriff here in Virginia Beach. And I'm not regretting that I went. I got to meet Aldo. I got to meet several people in the Libertarian Party. Um, I'm not saying that I have complete change of heart when it comes to the Libertarian Party. But hey, talking to two chairmen of local Libertarian Party groups, had a very illuminating conversation. This protest was my kind of protest, oddly enough. A lot of people talking intelligently and staying sane. And like I said, there was prayer before and after. This isn't what you see on TV. I was a little stunned. I but then again, though, I said that if there was any violence, I was going to walk away. Well, yeah, there weren't enough people to do any kind of violence. It would have been silly. And I doubt any of them would have. There were military veterans, Navy and Marine Corps there. Uh, it was a illuminating experience, as I said before. I like how people are not doing violence when they're protesting over Rolin Hill. I like that they're keeping it respectful. Not just this protest, but the other protests that have happened. One of the silly things that I did find out through this, the media was contacted. There were actual members of the media that were planning on coming. And then they were told by their bosses that we can't because we have an exclusive advertising deal with the current sheriff. So we can't do that. I don't understand where that one happened. I really don't. How does the media not cover news because of advertising? I mean, you get my meaning on that one. I'm in shock on that one. So I'm pretty much the only member of media, and I'm just a little podcaster from backwoods Tennessee that is covering this. I've heard of having an exclusive before, but lordy, lordy, lordy. Now, look, it probably would be more exciting if I could tell you that there was violence or there was some kind of confrontation. There wasn't. Any any kind of protest that starts up with the prayer, well, and the dude that gave the prayer, I liked him. Uh, this was something that I think more protests have to have happened. Unfortunately, I've covered this in a video before. It honestly looks way too often like there are people infiltrating certain groups to cause the violence that many of these protests end up in. So, thankfully, that was not going to be able to happen in this small little protest. But at the same time, it's good that there are people that are willing to peacefully protest when people do something bad. It wasn't not a single person talked against cops. Matter of fact, one of the people that spoke had family that were law enforcement on state, local, and federal level. We weren't there to bash on cops. We were there to protest that there was an environment that led to 5 cops doing what they did to Rolin Hill. I'm not against cops. I know I sound it in some of my videos. I'm not against cops. We need law enforcement. Law enforcement is exceedingly necessary. But the current environment and culture of law enforcement in this nation, no, we don't need that. That needs to be fixed. And that's what these people came out for. And Aldo Di Bellardino is somebody that is trying to do that, in all honesty. I can tell from the way that he speaks. I can tell from the people around him that he is honestly trying to do something good. And I keep using the word honestly. Sorry about that. But this is something that I am glad that I attended for multiple reasons. I got some contacts that I didn't have before. Um, Others, I got a chance to just meet not just Aldo, but got to actually talk to people in the Libertarian Party, which they seem a little different than the last time I'd been to anything dealing with libertarians. So that gave me a little hope. So, yes, I got to go to a protest. Yes, it was interesting. No, I probably won't be going back to too many of them, but it's good to see that there are ways to protest in this country still without the violence that has happened in so many other places. So that gives me a little bit of hope. I just thought I'd tell y'all about it, give y'all a little heads up that, hey, it happens that nonviolence happens, but y'all have a good day now. Bye. Folks, I just want to say thank you for listening. I want to thank you for taking your time. I want to hear what your comments are about what you think on this topic because your comments are what's important, not necessarily mine. I don't care if you're Republican, I don't care if you're conservative, I don't care if you're liberal, I don't care if you're Democrat. I want to hear your opinion on these topics. I want to thank you yet again for listening to my video. Like, subscribe, and all that other hoopla. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.